Hello and welcome to the business programme. I'm Liz Hay and today I'm joined in the studio by my special guest Joe Hughes, Area Manager of Leaseline for West Yorkshire. Leaseline are a nationwide vehicle leasing company with over 30 years experience in the vehicle leasing sector. They're a family-run business with a head office in Huntingdon, Cambridge, and they have 6 regional sales offices. Joe is based in Halifax and has been with Leaseline for 6 years, but has been in the industry for a total of 14. Hi Joe.
Hello there, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you for having me.
So vehicle leasing, Joe, can you tell us what it involves and then outline the main advantages of leasing a vehicle instead of purchasing one outright?
Vehicle leasing is a good process for either a personal vehicle lease or a business lease because we can cover both markets. It saves you having to lay out a large amount of cash, which with purchasing you normally need to put a larger initial rental down or initial payment. You have a set figure of payments over a length of time, so you know how much you're spending every month, you know how long you've got the car, and it makes it a lot easier as in worry-free motoring.
Great. And can you talk us through the main finance models that underpin vehicle leasing and perhaps explain why Leaseline prefer to operate the contract hire model?
Well, the word leasing seems to cover a multitude of sins, so to speak. It cover people say the word leasing and they think of what is more commonly known that you get from a main dealership or a garage, which is PCP, which is called personal contract purchase, and that gives you 3 options at the end where you can own the car, you can pay the balloon payment, or you can trade the vehicle in against a new car. We also cover finance lease, which is good for more business leasing rather than personal leasing, and we cover 5 or 6 different options with the finance types, which spread really between each business and personal, and which we try to advise which is best for that market or that person.
Sure, so you work with both personal and the business side of things. Is there any reason why Leaseline prefers to go down the contract hire route?
It seems currently the most popular type of finance, especially with businesses giving their members of staff a company car allowance rather than a company car, because they can use it in the same way as the scheme that would have as a company car, or along the same lines where they have the car for a length of time, and at the end of a 2 or a 3 year period they can hand the vehicle back and jump into a new one.
Okay, and do you work with all types of vehicles, Joe, at Leaseline, or do you tend to work with particular types and work with particular manufacturers as well? No,
we work with every make and model of car. We work with vehicles from stock, if it's nationally in a chain of dealerships stock, or we do factory order. So if you have specifics that you want a specific car, specific model, we can have that car built with that manufacturer for you.
And how do you like to stand out from the crowd? What makes you special?
I try to put a more personal touch to it than being a large company where my customers, I try to make them feel they can contact me at any time. It's me who first answers the phone, it's me that they deal with when they get the car delivered. If they have any issues with the car, they can ring me at any time through the contract. And simple things I try to do. As you know, people are at work, normally a lot of people 9 to 5. So if people want to ring me in an evening, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, they can have my mobile number, they can ring me then. Weekends, they're happy for them to ring me. So hopefully that helps rather than being tied to ringing 9 to 5 when everyone's at work. Yeah.
And if there's anything you could actually change about the industry you're in or the way it's perceived, what would you address?
I think it's the old adage of the 80s, early 90s car salesman. People I think sometimes have that thought of that you're trying to sell to them. But as I personally try to do, I'd rather look after that person individually or that company individually and make sure that we get them the right vehicle and spend the time looking after them. It's not about the short term, getting the deal and moving to the next person. I'd like them to come back in 2 or 3 years, and hopefully removing that adage would help that.
Sure. Again, the right thing for the right individual.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, some more ethical trading
Yes,
as well.
more ethical is probably the best way to put it. So you don't feel like you're being chased by people.
And what's been your single biggest challenge, would you say, Joe, this year?
This year, the biggest challenge really has been the availability of stock of cars, due to cars not being built as quick as they have been over the past few years or in the past, due to the regulations changing with the CO2 emissions and the MPGs for cars, and that's caused a bit of a hindrance with trying to find people cars to make sure they don't have any periods without, or having to put them on extensions, which may be costly.
Sure. And have you found that's affected all the different manufacturers?
It has.
With cars?
It's been nationwide, and as far as I'm aware, Europe-wide, that's caused that the issues have been.
And have they been resolved at this stage, or are you
Yes.
still working through it?
No, we're still working through it. All the issues were had to be in place or for around the beginning of September, but now stock's beginning to become a lot freer than it was, and hopefully that's clearing the market up and making it better for the consumer.
And finally, how has the introduction of GDPR this year affected what you do and how you do it?
Us as a company, Leaseline, it has affected us, but not as much as we thought it would, because we keep the information that we have to keep in the systems that we need to. We've been doing that for years anyway, and it just it was making people aware of the changes that were going on. That was the hardest thing, and making sure we had all the relevant signatures from customers that they were still okay for us to keep their information on file, and we got everything back within time for when we needed, and luckily it didn't cause a massive backlog for us.
Good. And not too much additional work?
No.
Good. Well, thanks, Joe, for joining me. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now, that's all we have time for today, but do join me again next time on the Business Programme.